Picture this. It's the dawn of 2025 and you're poised for success. Why? Because you've established your why. This isn't just a whim or a hobby. It's the passion that propels you forward, the core of your ambition. Next, you assess your current position. Where do you stand? What are your strengths, your weaknesses? Honesty is key here. Now envisage your destination. What do you want to achieve by the end of this year? Set those goals. Make them smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. With your destination locked, it's time to map out your plan. Break down your goals into manageable steps, then start stepping. Remember, action without reflection is aimless. Record your results, analyze your performance, and adjust your plan accordingly. The path to success in 2025 isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Take meaningful action, keep your eye on the prize, and continually strive for improvement. Here's to a successful 2025.
Greetings everybody. Again, another Thursday morning. It's still raining here in Gauteng. We had a big storm last night, and so welcome to all of you, and I hope that you've got rain and water and sunshine wherever you are. It's another Thursday, and today we're going to be talking about the game of chance. Life is a game of chance, and what we're going to be talking about is how to actually make that chance a little bit better so that we can actually win. So before we even get onto that, let's go around the room and ask each of our co-hosts just to introduce themselves. So we'll start with Mona. Mona, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, good morning. I think you kind of introduced me already. My name is Marna. I'm from a company called Inscorp Insurance Brokers, which I started about 12 years ago. And we specialize in your commercial and transport and logistic industry and keep the wheels running. That's me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Mona. Let's go there. Let's go to Wilhelm, and then we'll go to Glenn.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, thank you, David, for this opportunity to be here with you guys today. It's a wonderful day after the storm last night. My name is Wilhelm Lombard. I'm a life energy coach, and I focus on strategies to give more energy in the workplace and individuals. I think we need to take charge of our own lives and take the responsibility. Make sure you have enough energy to make this year the best year ever. And I always look from an energy perspective. Everything, according to me, is energy. Without energy, you can't do anything. So I'm full of energy today and want to know more about what you have to share with us, David. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Wilhelm. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Glenn, over to you. Please introduce yourself.
Thanks, David, and welcome, everyone. Great to be on the show again. Yes, I am a life and business coach. I also do counseling and mentoring, but I often say that I'm actually a personal locksmith. It's because I love to actually help people unlock the potential that they have, and we all have incredible, amazing potential, but oftentimes we don't actually understand and we don't use it correctly. So that's really what I do. I help unlock that potential inside you and help you to step in your destiny. I often use a tool called Map for Life, and it really works exceptionally well. So that's me. Thank you very much, David. Looking forward to this.
Thank you, Glenn. Fantastic. Well, today what we're going to be talking about, let me just quickly introduce myself. I'm a bid architect. You might be asking, what is a bid architect? It's not about designing buildings. It's actually about designing tenders and proposals for businesses who wish to win tender submissions. That's what I specialize in. I've been doing that for many years. My first tender that I actually started putting together was actually in 1987. Now that gives away my age. And I was actually working in the tendering department in Marion Roberts. And from there, I did a whole lot of things like project management, etc. And then I went back to this, but I was actually now working in the casino industry. And I put tenders together for the different casino licenses in South Africa. I worked for Sun International, initially with Ove Arab and then with Sun International. And basically, out of the 40 licenses in South Africa, I did 18 of them. I only lost one, which was Queenstown. Otherwise, we got them all. And I then opened a company in 2003 called Sabakwe Select Properties, which continued to actually work with putting tenders together. And I'm still doing that. Last year, I also did some great submissions. So anyone who needs a tender submission, please get hold of me. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Today, we're going to be talking about a game plan. Now, a game plan is so important in anyone's business. And I went along and, you know, I've learned about goal setting, and I learned about the secret a long time ago. I was actually, when I was about, I think I was about 27 years old, I actually put together I went into a goal setting course. And one of the things that I did was I had to identify different goals I had to do. And I had to identify 3 goals. And I remember paying 6,000 Rand at that time. And that's in 87. I paid 6,000 Rand to actually do this course, a lot of money in those days. And there were 3 goals that I actually identified. One was to go and work overseas. At that time, a lot of my colleagues and friends and my family had gone overseas to go and work. And it was something that I hadn't done. I'd gone to varsity and I'd gone back straight into work. So I hadn't done that. And it was like a big dream of mine to go and work overseas. The next thing I wanted to do was actually live on an island. I said, okay, I want to live on this island. And, I had no idea which island, but I said I want to live on the island. And then the third thing I said was I wanted to do something, be involved in something great, something that's going to make a difference, something that's a first off, and so on. So those were my 3 goals that I identified. And I wrote about it. I put it on paper. So this is something that's so important. If you've got a goal, write it on paper. And I wrote it on paper, and I wrote it down, and we went through it, and I visualized what I was going to have, and so on. And then I put it aside, and I forgot about it. And about a year later, I was in the office, and James Oppenheim, my boss, called me into his office. And I thought, oh, what have I done wrong? As we all do if we called into the boss's office. And he said to me, David, I've got an opportunity for you. Would you like to go and work in Mauritius? And I looked at him. Now, in those days, we didn't have all the digital access as we have today. So I didn't know where Mauritius was. I was a bit ignorant on that. And so I had to go home to go and look up where Mauritius was. And blow me down, it was an island. But when this opportunity arose, and he said this to me, I didn't say, oh, wait, hold on, I don't know, I must go and think about it. I actually dived in, and I took the opportunity straight off. I went on and I said, yes, I'm going to go, even though I didn't even know where Mauritius was. And blow me down, I found that Mauritius was an island. And I ended up going to live in Mauritius for 4.5 years. I was the project manager for the first high-rise building to be built in Port Louis. It's still standing. It's called the Pie and Kerr Court, or the Air Mauritius building. So anyone who's been to Port Louis and seen the silver-clad building, which was the most modern one at that time, that was the building that I project managed. And when I arrived in Mauritius, it was a hole. And at the end, when I left, it was fully tenanted, and it was a functional building. So that was what I achieved over that time. And that was achieving something that I'd set out to do. Now, the question that I've got today is, how many of you actually have written down your goals? Or even, first of all, even identified goals that you want to do? Or are you just living day by day and not living it by design? So this is my question to you. You need to write down those goals, and you need to actually visualize what they look like. And guess what? As per the secret, it will come about in some way or form. I'll tell you another story that happened with me. I had a little vision board, and Wilhelm's very good at doing vision boards. And if you would like to learn a little bit more about that, maybe Wilhelm can talk a little bit about his vision boarding that he does. And I actually cut some papers. You know, you go along, you get magazines, and you cut papers out, and you little pictures, and you put it onto a piece of paper, and you kind of visualize it. So some time ago, and I'm talking about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, before COVID, I went along and I was going through all my papers and sorting out, you know, we've become a paperless environment now, or kind of. And I took out this one piece of paper, was this vision board. And I looked at it, and on the vision board, there was a garage with 2 cars in the garage. And I looked at this, I said, hold on, that looks like my garage. And I went to my garage, the same cars were in that garage. Can you believe it? It was unbelievable. It was like, I just thought, wow, what happened here? Something happened. This is magic. But let's talk a little bit about how do we actually, if we've got this goal, obviously in business, we need to achieve it. Now, one of the things that I've identified, or we've identified as a group here, is to grow Vision 2025. So some of you who have been on here before know that we started last year, at the beginning of last year, in 2024, and it was an idea that we came about to actually give back to society, to help people to actually grow and do self-development. And that's the purpose of what this whole thing is about. Now, what we did was, at the end of 2024, we had on Vision 2025 675 followers, and we started also a newsletter called, for example, it's called Future Forward, and we had 365 subscribers. So what we've done collectively is we've identified that we want to actually increase the numbers on LinkedIn. So what have we done? So we actually identified the goal. The goal is now we want to have 2,000 followers by the end of 2025, and we want to have 1,000 subscribers to our newsletter. So how do we achieve this? Well, the way that we've done it is we've created a game for ourselves. And the way we've done that game is we've broken it down. So we basically said, if we look at the number of people that we have to expand it by, so the difference between 2,000 followers and the number of followers we have at the beginning of this year was 675. That means that there is 1,325 followers that we need to get, right? So we've now broken it down into we've gone into the future, we've looked at the future, and we've said we would like to achieve X amount of followers, which is 2,000. We have at the beginning of the year 675, and the difference between that is 1,325, right? So what we do with the number is then we say, okay, let's divide the 1,325 by 12, because they're 12 months, January, February to December. And then what we've done is we've identified that we have to have 111 new followers per month. So that's what we need to achieve. We need to actually increase our followers by 111 per month. Now, if we achieve that goal, then by the end of 2025, we'll have 2,000 followers. So now what we've done is we've created a little table that basically identifies this. Then what we've done is we've gone along and said, okay, how do we get 111 followers? What is the aim that we need to do, right? So what we're doing, every Thursday, we have this show, and we basically invite people in. The second thing we do is we've identified a number of people in the industry who would like to follow this Vision 2025 on LinkedIn. So we've gone along now and we have put in place a methodology to invite them into this. Also, if we go to a networking group, we go along and say, okay, we invite people, we talk about Vision 2025, what we're doing, and we go along and invite them to this. So basically what we're doing every single day is actually putting in place certain actions to actually achieve our goal. Now, the thing is, what I've done is I've actually created a table that's on the board, and I have identified what I need to do. So I'm going to just turn my thing around and show you what we've got here. So if you see the board, right, I don't know if you can read it, but there is my goal for Vision 2025. So I've identified the start of it. I've identified the end of 2025. I've identified the monthly goals. Can you see that, guys? And then I've identified where we are. And then I've identified by the end of January, I need to have 786 followers. And the same thing for my subscriptions on the board. Now, at the end of January 2025, what I'll do is I'll identify how many I've actually achieved. Now, this is a game, obviously. So, because if we've achieved 111, then we can reward ourselves. Maybe go for extra coffee or maybe a light meal or something. So we reward ourselves.
A trip to Mauritius.
A trip to Mauritius. There we go. Thank you, Glenn. So now what we've done is we've actually created a game for ourselves, something that where there's a reward and we've identified the steps. And then the idea now is obviously consistency, to actually continue to do this and to see how it grows over time. Now, obviously, if we are, the idea is if we achieve less than 786, which is the number of people you need to achieve by end of January, then we still add on 111 to the to 786, and then we identify the difference that we have to achieve. So we are constantly keeping to our KPI that we've identified. So you might say, okay, great, this is great for Vision 2024, it's great for LinkedIn or whatever, but what about my business? Now, for example, and now I'm going to just give you some examples. In the property game, you can use the same thing. So say if you are an estate agent, you can identify the same. So your KPIs would be, I need to sell 10 houses a month, right? So you identify the number of houses, 10, and then you monitor yourself. And if you achieve the 10, you reward yourself. If you achieve over that, fantastic. If you underachieve that, then you need to add 10 to that number, again, the number that you would have achieved. So next month you have to achieve 12. So by doing this, you can actually create a game for yourself. But what you're doing is you are monitoring yourself, you're doing analysis, and then what you do is you look at it back and say, okay, what can I do differently to do more or to achieve those results? The same thing, for example, in coaching, right? You need to have so many clients in a month. So what you do is you can identify, all right, in a month, I can do, say, 2 coaching sessions a day, times by, that's 5, and I've got 5 working week, 5 days per week. So that's basically 10 people that I need to see a week. Then you go along and say, okay, in a month, okay, let's times it by 4, right? So now we've got 40 people that we need to see. So you put 40 at the top. That's your goal that you need to achieve. Then you identify at the bottom how many you actually achieved. And then you reward yourself when you get it. Now, it's a very simple process, this, but it works because what it's going to do is going to keep you in account. It's going to keep you basically that you've got to be accountable and responsible for achieving that on a monthly basis. You can do it, for example, in insurance as well. You can basically identify that you need to get 2 or 3 more clients every single week. And again, you monitor it and you put it on a board so you can actually see it. You can see this is my desk, and you can see there it is, right there, right in front of me. So I can actually see exactly what it is. So it's in my face the whole time. So it's not something that I put on a piece of paper and put in a drawer, something that's right there. So this is something that all of us can use. The question is, you need to go forward to 2020, end of 2025, and say, what do I want to achieve? Then break it down into monthly KPIs so that you've got numbers that you've got to achieve. So, for example, in sales, you can identify the value of what you want to sell or the number of things that you want to sell. But it's just to break it down into a simple format that is not complex, that is so easy to understand, and that can be easily utilized in monitoring yourself or your business in how you achieve certain things. So this is something that written a game plan, and what I'll be doing. All of those who are commenting and so on in the commenting so on, they would please comment and just say yes, please, and I will then send you a copy of the game plan, which you can then read it, see how it's used, and actually implement it into your business. Great, so that's me. I hope that was of great value. It's something very simple. I'd actually prepared a little presentation, and I thought, let me just talk about it, because, you know, sometimes that's a little bit better than just showing you a PowerPoint presentation. Anyway, what I'd like to do is maybe just go through and maybe ask Mona how she monitors herself and what games. I know Mona last week said she didn't like playing games, but perhaps this is something that Mona can use for her business. And so I'm going to hand over to Mona, and then we'll go around the room and just chat about it. Over to you, Mona.
Okay. Can I just come back to the games, if you don't mind? When I say I don't like play games, I don't like to play computer games like Pokemon or something like that. That's what I mean. So yes, you have to have goals, and I think that's something that I love in my business. I've been going on for 12 years, and I haven't achieved really what I wanted. Although, you know, I have people that works for me and all that. But I think by breaking down your goals, it should be achievable goals. I think that's one important thing that I think. And then also, I think you should have an accountable partner, because sometimes being a business owner can be a very lonely place to be in. So I think if you can go to a group like the one that Glenn has at the moment, would help also, because you have a whole lot of people that can keep you accountable. I think that's important, someone to help you keep you accountable, because life happens. Like yesterday, I walked into the office, I had the whole plan for my day. I did 0 of that plan. So when I walked in, Andy said, make yourself a cup of coffee and come and sit down. I've got bad news. And I said, oh my goodness, now what? So one of the companies that I service had a big accident. So it's all over social media. So that's my client. It's a 54 million goods in transit claim. So you can just imagine how my day went. So it's good to have a plan, but sometimes, you know, in some industries like mine, it's a whole new game, but you need to get back onto track. And that's where I think you need a accountable partner to keep you accountable, or a group of people that can say, okay, hang on, this is how you're going to get back. Because something like that can throw you off track completely. So yeah, yesterday was not Wednesday, it was Monday for me. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mona. You know, because I was watching Netflix the other day, and there was someone talking about, you know, I wasn't able to achieve whatever, and the other person turned around and said, but that's life. So, you know, we've all got life that happens to us. Things do happen. I mean, yesterday I took my daughter to school. There were 2 accidents on the way. So we're supposed to be there 7:15. We arrived there 7:45. We missed the whole function of her getting, you know, it was coffee and a whole welcoming thing for first day back at school. We missed all that. And that wasn't in the plan. So life hit us big time. Let's go to Wilhelm and ask him how he actually can use this game plan to actually improve his business. Over to you, Glenn.
Glenn or Wilhelm? Okay. Yeah, no, for sure. This can really help. You know, I think what's important is, as you've mentioned now, that life happens to us. The problem is that if we don't have that plan, we can often fall into the trap of just reactive thinking, or reacting to what life throws at us. And I always say, if you take the word reactive and you change the way you see, you look different, and you change the way you see, you take actually the C of the word reactive and you put it in front of the word, it spells creative. And we need to be creative in our life. We need to have our future in our own hands, in a sense. Yes, life happens, but don't let life happen so much that you run through this year and it was just reactive thinking all the way, and you're just trying to respond and trying to survive, because then it's survival mode. You fall into that trap. And surviving is not a good place of energy. It's just trying to get up again and get your breath again. So one should take control, and this is a very nice way to do it. Now, I always talk about the recipe of success, or the formula. There's a formula. There's a recipe. You know, if I follow a recipe, I can even bake a cake. I must just follow the recipe. And of course, it starts with your dream. As you've mentioned, you had a dream, and that's where the vision board and things come into place, because you need to see where you want to go. And it's very important to get out of yourself, out of your circumstances, and look at what you really want. And I find that lots of people don't know what they want. And that's maybe the first step. What do you really want? And of course, there are realities. You got what you want, but there's realities. And that dissonance, that take you actually, or that disease is actually a disease. It drains a lot of energy. But the realities are there. But what do you need to do to get out of the realities towards what you want? And that is action. You need to take action. You need to do something different to get different results. And I found that that's a big problem, that lots of people just don't take action. You know, they dream, they hope, they wish, they even pray about things that they want, but they never take the action. You need to do it. You need to take the steps, the shortest possible route towards what you want to achieve, according within the laws. Né? So, and then the next thing is you must see your target. You must really see it. You know, when my son was a little chappy, once I pitched a ball to him. He was a small guy, and the whole time he missed that ball. And then I say, but keep your eyes on it. Look at it. See your target. What do you want to achieve? Because sometimes we are looking around all over, not looking at what you really want to achieve. So that's the important thing, what to write on that board. As you've mentioned, set yourself back, end of this year, but what did you achieve? As if you already achieved it. So make sure you are crystal clear about what you want to achieve. And then, of course, keep it in your sights. You know, that is the other thing that often happens to us. We tend to forget. We just carry on. Life happens, and before we know it, it's the end of the year. And when you think back, you realize, oh my word, I lost my sight. I lost what I actually wanted to achieve. And that's why it's such a good thing, as you've mentioned, to have it there right in front of you. So always keep track. What did you do? Did you miss your target? How can you get back on track on it again? And then, of course, the last thing is to really focus your energy to it. You know, if you don't put energy into something, it will not happen. So you need to focus. You need to energize yourself. Keep your energy. It's like a knife. When you focus your energy, it's on that sharp edge. And it's so easy to cut something if it's sharp, if you are sharply focused, if your energy is on it. Because if it's not, it's almost like trying to cut a piece of bread with your finger. It's a mess, man. Maybe you will get it right, but rather use the bread knife. Because of that energy, it's just much easier. So I love what you've told us here and what you share with us, but get your mindset right. Because easily can put something on my board there and forget about it because I didn't put my energy to it. I didn't keep looking at what I really want, focus on it, and so on and so on. So thank you for sharing that. But get your mind right. And the first thing is know what you really want. What do you want? And take charge of your own life. You know, we always blame, and blaming is a big energy draining factor because we blame life, we blame the government, we blame whatever is around us, and we don't take charge. You know, I always ask somebody if they want to change their life. I say, okay, what responsibility are you going to take? Because you are responsible for your own life. We need to do it. Nobody else will do it for us. Nobody can really, yes, they can keep us accountable, but I still need to take the responsibility about my own life. What am I going to do about it? That's the question. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I actually love that. You've got to focus your energy on it, and yeah, really important. Thanks for that. You know, one of the things that I've actually applied to my life is this map for life process. It's a blueprint. I hope you can see it. It looks like it's the wrong way around. But Glenn is a map for life coach, and he offers a thing called the Map Cafe, which both Marna and myself are attending on a weekly basis. It's a fantastic process. But I'm going to ask Glenn to enlighten us and also just to talk about how he actually ensures that he achieves what his goals are every month. Over to you, Glenn.
Thanks, David. I'd like to perhaps just add to what everyone said and just bring something which I call perspective, which is quite important. Valera mentioned the word reactive and just changing the C to make it creative. I love that. I think it's brilliant. And that also brings a different perspective. And let me use Marna as an example. So forgive me, Marna, I'm going to put you on the spot a bit, but it's a good thing. Trust me, it's a good thing. Let's take what happened to you yesterday in terms of your situation, going to work and having a plan in place and getting to work and all hell breaks loose. We've all been through that, trust me. And it happens more often than we would like. However, I'd like to think about the situation. You are a FSP, financial service provider. You're a short-term broker. I don't really like the word broker. It sounds a bit strange. I'm broke. I'm a broker. I'm broke. But anyway, neither here nor there. Your work is to actually help clients and assist clients in terms of if they have accidents, if there's destruction, whatever it might be. That's actually part of the job. So what happened yesterday was actually, in fact, part of your job. It's actually what you do, and you're very good at it. So in that sense, from a different perspective, it wasn't necessarily that your plan went out the back door completely. You still did what you do and what you do well, and it's your passion. And so in that sense, from that perspective, it was actually a good day. So you have the opportunity to actually help your client and make sure that they will refer you in the future. And that's the concept behind it. So if we can change our perspective on things happening around us on a daily basis, it can make a massive difference. And that's really what it's about for me as well. But to come back to what we're all discussing now about the game plan, I think it's such an important aspect. You know, I speak to so many people and then I ask them the simple question, have you got a written, documented plan for your life? And when I'm speaking to a business person, they go, oh, no, I've got a business plan. And I say, no, a written, documented plan for your life. And this is what I'm trying to get to. When you're born, you don't just start a business. You're actually born and you go through a certain period of time where you learn things, you create habits, you're in different cultures, and all that becomes part of who you are and how you react in your business, in your workspace, with people, you name it. If you don't get those things right in the first place, it's going to follow through in your business. And I see that so often with people in business when they're applying things in their life. Then I start talking about their personal life, and the parallels are all there, all the same things. So we have to get the personal life right first if you're going to take that correctly into your business. And that's why I talk about life and business coaching and counseling and mentoring, because I use all the hats in terms of that to really get that right. But for me, coming back to the Map for Life, I think it's a brilliant methodology. You don't have to use that, but I just find that it works and works very well. It's in over 95 countries worldwide. It's been used for over more than 3 decades already. And the principles are really basic. It's basically a 5-step methodology. Establish your position, figure out where you are right now. And again, you can use that in any aspect. You can use it for your life. We have map for business. We have map for life. We have map for parenting. We have map for sport. You name it. Map for estate agents. You name it. Okay, you can apply the principles. Establish your position. Taking that snapshot of where you are right now and figuring out where you are. Determine your destination. Okay. Figure out where you want to go to. What's the why? What's the direction you want to move in? Then prepare an action plan according to that, which is exactly what David's talking about. Prepare that action plan. Set the goals in place. Then take meaningful action according to that action plan. Okay. A lot of people say take massive action. Well, I can jump up and down, throw my toes at the cot, do all kinds of things in massive action, and it means squat. Take meaningful action. If you really want to put that word massive there, fantastic. Take massive, meaningful action. All right. And the last one is simply record the results. Such an important aspect, which is exactly what David was talking about. Having that vision board in front of you and actually recording those results, monitoring continuously. So all the things that we've discussed, we're all talking about the same things, just probably from different perspective. But it's great. It really does work. Last thing from my side, just very quickly. We've got some time. I'll do that quickly. 2 minutes. Zig Ziglar, I'm sure most of you know Zig Ziglar. He was looking at a study that was done back in 1953 at Yale University, where they took all the graduating students from that particular time and they said to them, do you have written documented plans for your life? You've just graduated now. What's happening? 85% of them said, no, they don't. 12% of them said, oh, yeah, no, we actually wrote something down. This is what we want to do. 3% of them actually wrote specific goals down in various areas and in a specific format. And 20 years later, they went back to all those graduating students. 20 years later, of the 87%, virtually every single one of them were either paupers, very poor, in poverty, drugs, alcohol. I mean, it was disaster. Okay. The 12% that had written down something were mediocre, doing okay, average, no problems, carrying on in life. Okay. The 3%, every single one of the 3%, were doing exceptionally well in every facet of life, not just in business, not just financially, in their family, you name it. And that's the difference. Now, if that's the case, then surely we should be writing down our goals and we should be doing it in that particular format. So if you want to know about that format, then talk to us. We'll get that format to you. That's for me. Thanks, David.
Thanks so much, Glenn. Absolutely. You know, the reason why we actually started this whole Vision 2025 is actually not only for you, it's also for us and for us to keep ourselves accountable and to actually also learn. You know, Glenn yesterday, at the Map for Cafe, mentioned the word key, you know, and maybe, Glenn, you can just quickly talk about what key means, because that's the key to life that as I understand. Over to you, Glenn.
Sorry, batting with my mouse over here. Yeah, the couple of acronyms I used yesterday, but the key for me, the KEY, stands for keep educating yourself. Keep educating yourself. Jim Rohn often talks about this, and he says that formal education, in other words, your normal schooling and your normal university, that type of thing. Nothing wrong with that, although I have my point of view, but I won't go into that. Formal education will get you a job. Self-education, and that's the issue about educating yourself. Self-education will make you rich, make you wealthy, right? And that's really what it's about. Interesting enough, can I quickly share the other one, the one that's POOR, P-O-O-R, POOR. That acronym yesterday is actually passing over opportunities repeatedly. Passing over opportunities repeatedly. And so often opportunities come our way and we tend to go, yeah, no, I'll do that tomorrow. Oh, no, I'm not interested in that. Yeah, no, I'll try that. But nothing ever happens. What Willem said, so important. Take action. Thanks, David.
Absolutely. I was just thinking about what you said about POOR. You know, I look back now, and if I'd said to my boss at the time when he said, would you like to go and look at Mauritius, go and live in Mauritius? And if I'd said, I'm not sure, where's Mauritius? And I'd actually asked a lot of questions, etc., I would have passed up a huge part of my life, a huge benefit that actually happened to me. I mean, that whole thing was amazing opportunity for me, and I could have passed it on because I was not the only person in the office that he could have asked. At the time there were 37 other project managers in the office, and for whatever reason he asked me first, and I said yes. So if I'd actually passed on, maybe he would have gone to someone else. And that was like, I mean, during that time I went and lived in Mauritius. I stayed there. I had the life of staying in Mauritius. It was a fantastic opportunity. And a more recent opportunity that's come my way is this eSIM business that's now that I've been given to me. And I had a meeting in Cape Town. The guy mentioned to me that he's got this eSIM business that he wants to start here in South Africa. And he said, David, would you like to take on this opportunity? And again, if I'd said, I'm not sure what's it about, I said, yes, obviously I'm taking it on. So that's something new for me. And so all these opportunities do come. You just got to be listening, and you've got to be hearing that opportunity and actually say yes. And, everything starts small. You've got to start small, take on that opportunity, and then grow with it. You may not be ready for it, but take on that opportunity because it might pass you by and never have it happen again. Sometimes we say, and I've even done it myself, when I actually heard my daughter say it yesterday. She says, when I get older, when I grow up, she said, okay, she's 16, when I grow up, or 15, sorry, when I grow up, I'm going to do this and this and this. And I thought to myself, how many times do we say, when we're going to achieve that, we're going to do this and this and this? And, one of the things, a big thing that I've learned in my life, I had this vision to change my kitchen. And I've been living in this house for 20 years. And I've been looking at, I've been wanting to change this kitchen. Well, the kitchen's slowly getting changed now, but just think of the opportunity that I lost in not having a nice kitchen for all these years, because it was always, oh, well, I'll wait until like this happens, or I'll wait until that happens. And my lifetime that I'm on this earth is shortening every single day. Every single day I have less time on this earth. And now I've passed that opportunity of actually having a nice kitchen for maybe 5 years, 10 years, whatever. Whereas I could have had a nice kitchen and, had it all sorted for 10 years and enjoyed it. And now I've lost that opportunity. So how many times do you think about that? How many times have you putting things off until something else happens? Maybe a challenge. Go along and take it up right now. See what you can do. I see there are a whole lot of people who've joined us on Facebook and LinkedIn. I see Enoch's here. Great to see you, Enoch. Enoch says, he said, here we are, let me show. Enoch just said, so glad you're having an amazing kitchen. I hope I can cook there. Me too, Enoch. Thanks so much. Thanks, guys, for joining us today. I mean, we have this every week. Next week, Wilhelm's going to be presenting, and he's as a life energy coach. And, it's all about having energy, and he'll be talking about the energy tanks. And he worked on Mirages when he was in the Air Force. A fantastic opportunity that just to be able to work on these wonderful machines. So he'll be talking to us a little bit about that and showing how one can actually fill your energy tank so that you do have the energy to do all these things that you want to achieve in your life. So I'd like to just go around the room and just ask for your takeaway from today and what action you're going to take, because action is the best thing. If you don't take action, you don't go anywhere. And I'd also just like to thank all those who've been on the show, just to say thank you very much for that, and all the people that attended on LinkedIn and on Facebook and on YouTube. Thanks very much for being here today. Right, let's go around the room. Let's start with Mona.
Okay, you asked the woman to talk first, and I always got a mouthful. Just to go back to Glenn, yes, truth be told, I am at my best under pressure. So as bad as yesterday was, that's who I am. That's how I roll. takeaway from Wilhelm. What are you going to do about it? That's the question. So we are faced with life challenges, and we have choices. So what are you going to do about it? And that's a thought I've taken away from you. And then Glenn, personal life first. I agree with that 100%. I think for a long time, I've been in this industry since 1998 without giving away my age. One thing I learned was that your personal life should always come first. For the longest time, I've worked so hard and so I was like, sometimes I would be at the office until the next morning, quickly go back for a shower, come back. But I left my personal life to come second. You should never do that. And it always goes back to the basics. I think everything in life, your personal life, your business life, whatever life it is you have, it always goes back to the basics. And then Glenn, meaningful action. It doesn't help you take action, it means nothing. You can take all the action in the world. If it doesn't mean anything, you might as well not do it. And then the last thing I never do is, and I think it's something that I'm going to start now with Map for Life, is to record my results. And that's what I meant with having partners who keeps you accountable. Although you are accountable yourself, but sometimes, if you see a problem and you have a whole lot of other business people around the table, and they say, okay, but why don't you try this, or why don't you try it this way? And I think this is something we learn from Vision 2025 as well. We have people around the room that can help us with certain problems. And, that's my takeaway.
Thank you, Marna. Glenn, over to you.
Thanks, David. I want to perhaps just mention something quickly, which really encompasses everything, puts it into a practical manner, very simple. And I did mention this yesterday at the Map Cafe, but I want everyone to consider and imagine themselves at the end of the year. And I know that sounds like really crazy because everyone's going, time's going too quickly. Why are you doing this? But imagine yourself at the end of the year on the 31st of December, 2025. And you look back at the year and you go, this was the best year of my life. It was absolutely incredible. Okay. Now come back to today, right now, this minute, and write down what would make it that best year. And then set goals accordingly. Okay. A very simple method and a good way to do it. And it'll really be in line with your passions and desires. So it's a good way to do it. But besides that, I just want to say one other thing, and that is every single person on this group, and even the people that are making comments, are making brilliant comments. And there's so many different nuggets of truth that you can get from it. And when I'm listening to people, when I go to functions, whatever it might be, I always try and look for that at least one nugget. At least one thing that I can take away and start applying in my life and put it in my life and making it a habit. And so that's what I suggest, that we actually do that, because so many nuggets have been given out today by all of us and the people that have been making comments. Really brilliant. So go for it, people. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be the best year ever. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Glenn. Fantastic. And let's go to Wilhelm. Wilhelm, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, David, and all the speakers and all the comments. I must say, the one thing that I really need to do, and you showed me that I must put something here on my board so that I can look at it every day, and to keep my focus and to keep it in my sights. So that's what I'm going to do. I got lots of papers all around. I'm one of those people that do a lot of things at one time. Now, it's not always a good thing, but sort of I can manage it. But on the other sense, I need to search for my goals sometimes. And I think the best thing is to put it here on the wall so that I can really check it out every day. That's important. Yes, with that in mind, next week when we talk again, I can just say I'm going to focus on the different energy tanks that we need to keep filled every day, so that we can achieve our goals and be able to live life and create our own future the way we can. You know, we got lots of power in our hands. We can do a lot of things, and maybe I can focus on those things. So looking forward next week, and I hope all of you guys will bring somebody along. Let's grow this client base here, or this attendance base here. So looking forward, David, to chat to you guys next week.
Thank you so much, Wilhelm. Thanks, Mona. Thanks, Glenn. Yes. So, you know, life is a game of chance. Life does happen to us every single day. But with the right plan, you can stack the odds in your favor. And I think that's what it's all about. So take control in 2025. Don't just roll the dice. Play to win. Thank you so much. See you next week. And please subscribe to our Future Forward newsletter, which will come out shortly. Thank you. Take care, everyone. And see you next week, same time. Bless you all. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you, David, again.
Pleasure.
Picture this. It's the dawn of 2025 and you're poised for success. Why? Because you've established your why. This isn't just a whim or a hobby. It's the passion that propels you forward, the core of your ambition. Next, you assess your current position. Where do you stand? What are your strengths, your weaknesses? Honesty is key here. Now envisage your destination. What do you want to achieve by the end of this year? Set those goals. Make them smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. With your destination locked, it's time to map out your plan. Break down your goals into manageable steps, then start stepping. Remember, action without reflection is aimless. Record your results, analyze your performance, and adjust your plan accordingly. The path to success in 2025 isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Take meaningful action, keep your eye on the prize, and continually strive for improvement. Here's to a successful 2025.